Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A couple questions came up during today's virtual classroom over email. I thought I'd make a quick video lesson so all those that are interested can learn from the questions that were asked and the solutions that were provided. Okay. So the question that we have is, we have a line y equals 4x plus b, and they're telling us that it's going to pass through the point 8 comma negative 3. Determine the value of b. All right. So, graphically, we know something here. We know that we have a line. Now, lines are graphed on a Cartesian plane with a horizontal x-axis and a vertical y-axis. And we know that we have a line here, y equals 4x plus b. And we know a few things about that line. We know that this 4 is the slope, which means from any point on the line, if I have a rise and a run, 4 over 1, from any point on the line that I find, I would go over 1 and up 4 to get the next point. Or another point, not the next point, but another point on the line. B value is this y-intercept. And that is where it crosses the y-axis. Now, if it's going to cross the y-axis, its x value has to be 0. It can't be a little bit on either side. X can't be a little bit positive, x can't be a little bit negative. It has to be 0 to lie on this axis. So it crosses at the point 0 comma b, whatever that value is. So they would like us to determine the value of b. Okay, well, they also tell us that y equals 4x plus b. So assuming that b is somewhere on the y-axis, and I'm not going to assume that it's at 0, I'm going to assume that it's going to be some positive value. That's an assumption, but I'm going to assume it, and this is what the line would look something like. And whatever this b value is, if I was to use the slope over 1 and up 4, from that I would get another point on the line. And if I was to go over 1 and up 4 again, I would get another point on the line. And notice, had I gone here, and instead of going over 1 and up 4, I could have gone over 2 and up double to 8. Also, I could go from this point over 1 and up 4 again. That's what a slope is. That's a right triangle. So these are all points on the line. This is what I know. Okay, now that's something that we all need to be aware of, and it comes from grade 9, and it's just what's happening graphically. Now, algebraically, if I tell you that you have a point on the line, that point there, and if I give you that point in terms of x comma y, that means that it has to satisfy this equation. In other words, when I did a table of values, I had to have come up with something that looked like this. They're telling me that the point 8 comma negative 3 lies on this line, which means when x equals 8, y must equal negative 3. Which means that at some point, if I had put an 8 in here, then this would have equaled negative 3, and it would have given me the point 8 negative 3. That's what it means for that point, for this line to pass through this point. This line, this is the line, is passing through that point, which means that this point must lie on the line, which means that this has to be true. That when I put in x equals 8 and or x equals or y equals negative 3, it has to satisfy this equation. So what you do is you sub the point 8 comma negative 3 into the equation of the line, which is given by y equals 4x plus b. What that's going to give us is we're going to take the 8 for the x, put it in. We're going to take the negative 3 for the y and put it in. Now we have an equation that we can isolate for b. This is algebra. This is the algebra of the situation. So 4 times 8 is 16 plus 16, so it's 32. Need to get b by itself, so we're going to take 32 away from both sides. So b actually equals negative 35. So the equation is y equals 4x plus b. That b becomes y equals 4x minus 35. Now, my assumption that my b value was a positive number was incorrect. My b value is in fact a negative number. So our particular line, well, if I go out 8, and if I go down negative 3, that would be that point there. And my b value would actually be negative 32 somewhere, way down here. So that would be 0, negative 32. And that line, our particular line, would go through something like this. Now, do we have to do all of this work to calculate b? Absolutely not. So if I was given a question like this, I would jump in to this solution. So let me show you exactly what I would do to solve this question next time. First, let me focus this. That's a bit better. So, if this was a question that I was getting for the first time, and it said, let's cover it up like that, y equals 4x plus b passes through, this is a point, you're going to have to know that, and you know it's a point because it's in brackets, separated by a comma, and that point is always given by x comma y. So to solve this question, I would say, since 8 comma negative 3 lies on y equals 4x plus b, that's what it means to say that the line passes through it. Therefore, minus 3 equals 4 times 8 plus b. And what we did was we took the x value and put it in for x, took the y value, put it in for y. Negative 3 equals 32 plus b. 32 comes over to the other side. Minus 3 minus 32. b equals minus 35. And that's it. You're done. Yay! All right, I'll stop here and do the next question.